Okay, so for the next question, its boss is offering a raise instead of a year-end bonus. Thoughts? So without getting too deep into details, I received a raise earlier this year in the summer and was told on top of that raise, my boss would be giving me a bonus this year. No clear amount, estimated $3,000 to $5,000 based on previous bonuses, and would work to get me a bonus each year going forward. Fast forward to the present, and I just learned my boss is offering me another raise this week, making it clear he wants to make sure I am happy in addition to the big year we had thus far. However, I have not received any of the previously discussed bonus, nor was it brought up in this initial raise discussion. This is where I'm a bit uneasy. We're planning to meet formally tomorrow to discuss the raise, etc., so I don't know what is all encompassed in it yet. But assuming I am offered another raise in lieu of the bonus, what should I mention in regards to the previously promised bonus? Yes, a raise is great, but a bonus would be tremendously helpful given my current financial climate and the fact that I am currently working on a startup of my own. I don't want to cross any lines, but any input is appreciated.
Okay. Well, this one's kind of tricky just because he's saying that it feels like he doesn't have all the information yet from the boss. Mm-hmm. And so I think he's really just asking, like, how can he approach the situation? And, I mean, I would just ask him, to be honest. I don't think it needs to be very complicated. I would have, I've done this before even. Mm-hmm. I've done this where it depends if this was written in his contract.
It doesn't sound like it.
Because if it's not written in your contract, the first time your boss ever says, hey, you're going to get a raise, ask, like, can you send me an email just so I have it for my records? Because you don't want to think that you're going to get said raise, and then what if your boss leaves? Like, what if he gets fired?
It gets shifted around.
Yeah, like, you just can't go off of someone's word. So I think that's a hard lesson too for this person.
Yeah, I really hate when bosses do this. Like, it's definitely like it might come from a good place, but it comes off as like manipulative, where they're like, oh yeah, like we're gonna give you a raise, and like vaguely say that. Yeah, kind of makes you like not want to look at other jobs. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get a raise. I don't know what that's gonna be, and you're always like, maybe they'll give me $20,000, but like that's probably not gonna happen, right? Yeah. So it just puts you in a weird state of mind, I think, right?
Yeah, and like, what are the parameters for this raise? Like, do I have to hit a certain number? Like, does the company have to hit a certain EBITDA? Like, that's what I would want to know. So as soon as a boss ever mentions raise to you and says, oh, we're going to have a year-end bonus of 5%, be like, okay, that's great. What are the parameters? Can I have it in, can you send this to me in an email? Like, you just need to have that information, because they could come back to you too and say, oh, sorry, the bonus was only based on, I don't know, EBITDA, and we didn't hit our EBITDA goal. And you would never know. So there's that aspect too. You need to know how the heck you're going to reach this bonus as well that they're supposedly going to give you.
Yeah. I think it's a red flag too when someone promises you a raise, doesn't say anything about that raise, but then offers you another raise. So you're like, wait, does that cross out the first raise? Like, you want to get all your raises, right? Like, you don't want to forget about one. So, it's just, maybe this is a startup, right? Every company is different. Like, the startup environment is much harder. Like, people are doing a million things. They forget about, what they promised everybody. Yeah. How many employees is this boss managing, and like having to, manage the raises on? Like, if you're having a great year, it's like you're telling everybody that, right?
And I would just bring it up immediately too. As soon as that boss is like, you're getting this raise, be like, okay, so just to be clear, in my before this raise, I had this bonus, and this was my salary. Will my bonus still be carrying over? Will my bonus increase because my base now has increased?
Does it scale with your salary?
With your salary? So those are the questions you ask immediately. As soon as they bring up any type of raise situation and you have a bonus attached to that, definitely ask those questions. You just don't want them to think that they might have forgot, to be honest. Like Tom said, I agree. They could have forgot.
If they're busy and they have 20 other employees who they're giving raises. I definitely think it depends too, like how long you're thinking of staying at a company. I think like, you know, the safe bet is like a raise is always better than a bonus if they're going to be like the same amount, right? But that also changes if you're going to be planning on leaving that company within the next year or two. You know, you don't care about a $5,000 raise. You'd rather have a $10,000 bonus if you're going to be leaving next year, right? And this person said that they're, you know, working on a startup of their own. So obviously they're, you know, starting that path of already leaving. So a bonus, it makes sense why a bonus is more important to this person, because, you know, he doesn't want $2,000 more a year because he's not going to be there for that many years.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, well, I mean, I think he just needs to talk to his boss about it overall. It sounds like he doesn't have all of the answers yet either from his boss, so I would just bring it up and just be really respectful of it. He probably forgot, and you just need to bring it up to him again so that you can remind them. And always get it in writing.
You get a clear outline, too. Like, you know, mention to your boss, you mentioned the first raise, now I have a second raise, now there's a bonus in there. Like, just ask for a clear idea of what that actually is going to look like and, like, when it's going to happen. You don't have to be really pushy about it, but I think you deserve to know how it's going to look. I mean, it's your compensation, right?
Yep. Yeah, like Tom just said, but just ask for everything that you guys just talked about in an email. So I would be like, you know, just for clarity's sake and for my records, do you mind, like, sending me an email recapping everything you just said? And that will take all the confusion out of it.
Perfect.